Hey guys, it's Jenny here. Welcome to my channel. I've been seeing the starter pack trend go pretty viral lately on my art threads and art Instagram. So I decided, let me take a whack at it and create my own starter pack. It's nice to take a break from what I've been working on pretty intently the last couple of weeks to months, which was my attempted entry at the Webtoon Legends contest. So it'll be nice to switch gears and do something else for a change. It's been even longer since I've tackled an art trend, so I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Sit back, relax, grab some snacks, maybe even draw with me as I take you guys through my process on how I created my starter pack. Like always, thanks for watching and supporting, and I hope you guys enjoy. The first order of business is finding ideas and inspiration to figure out how I want to design my starter kit box. So obviously we have to hit up Pinterest first. This one cracks me up. Oh my god, it's so funny. Be nice to me, I'm on acid. Okay. I do like the idea of having the curves over the hole. I also like this little plastic piece right here. Let's try to hit up Instagram and see if we can find some stuff on here. I do like the idea of having a background behind the packaging. This is very cute. Go ahead and like that. Oh, this pixel one I already liked, but that is dope. Very cool. Before I can jump to the sketch, I'm working on a couple thumbnails to give myself an idea on how I want the starter pack to look like. After I drew my essential items, I brainstormed the exact order that I wanted to have them in the packaging. And then I got started on the sketch. The first order of business is to play some tunes. And then I began working on a very rough sketch of my starter pack. Since this is made not using AI, I wanted to emphasize that, as I've seen other creators put that little no AI sticker on their pack, and I think it's not only very fitting for this trend, since it was created as a response to people using the AI generator to create their starter pack, but it also makes sense with this being a toy package. So for my items in this pack, I have my mini backpack, which also doubles as a purse, my iPad, sketchbook, water bottle, protein powder, and I'm also including stickers of my two doggos. This is about as far as I can get tonight. It is almost 9 o'clock. It's Sunday, I got work tomorrow, so I need to start winding down for the night and then wake up early in the morning so I can try to work on the sketch for me right there. See y'all tomorrow morning. The last thing to sketch would be myself in a very plain, casual, kind of go-to outfit. Plain shirt, baggy pants. I start off by sketching a skeletal frame of myself. I will draw over that picture of myself using shapes. It helps me break down the body a little easier. And then I'll go over that skeletal base with more details of my body. This probably is the most detailed sketch so far. It's just going to help me save a little more time on the line art process, because I do have a lot of little details that I'm gonna have to capture in comparison to my essential items. And now we are finally moving on to the line art. The line art stage is simultaneously one of my favorite parts, but is also nerve-wracking because I am a perfectionist, as I've said in previous videos. But also, I am human, so there's going to be a little bit of shakiness from time to time. I just try to do the best that I can. My mini backpack has a lot of details, from this chain that hangs on the zipper to these tiny little rhinestones that accent my backpack. I've had this bag for several years now, and it's just big enough for me to keep my personal items in there, but not so big that it's a hassle to lug around. Next up, I'm working on my tarot deck, which happens to be the Rider-Waite. It's one of the most common tarot decks used. Amongst my group of friends, I'm known as the tarot reader. It's something I do for fun, and I find it's a lot easier to do readings for others than for myself, which I think a lot of other tarot readers can relate to.
Good morning. It is 6:48. I started my day off with a couple of stretches, which I need to do. I don't stretch enough, and I can tell my body is just way too stiff, and I'm only getting older. Today's plan is to try to finish up line art for my starter pack illustration. I'm going to work on this for a little bit before I have my breakfast this morning, so I'm going to try to lock in and hopefully get this done so I can start coloring and rendering and doing everything else. Wish me luck.
I'm finishing up the line art for the tarot deck, working on capturing the likeness of the flowers that are around the perimeter. I'm not too focused on getting the details exact. I do draw out some of the flowers, but for the most part, I'm just capturing the general shapes and the feelings of the flowers, because it's a little hard to work with details that small when you don't have a super big canvas.
Unfortunately, so I'll just have to use regular eggs and probably just substitute. Berries here. This is about half a serving, and then this is what my protein pancake mixture looks like. Hopefully this works. So this is what it looks like blended. It smells pretty good. It smells like batter. Hopefully it cooks well. Oil to the pan. Cross our fingers and hope it works well. This is probably the best looking pancake out of the bunch, because the other one that I cooked is looking a little burnt. I'm still gonna eat it though. Oh no! Alright, it is what it is at this point. This is what it's like every time you try to record. I don't have any syrup to eat my pancakes with, but I do have peanut butter powder, so I'm gonna make some like peanut butter syrup to eat my pancakes with. Is that weird? I love peanut butter, but it can be a little unhealthy sometimes. That's why I have peanut butter powder. Now these guys are eating, thank God. Now I can eat too. That's how my pancakes turned out. I didn't have all the egg whites I needed, so I used the whole egg. I have to say, not all of them look that bad, but some of them, this one right here looks pretty questionable. Peanut butter sauce. Let's give it a taste. I'm hoping this fills me up because I've been super hungry the last week. So here we go. Oh, it's actually good. If you're wondering if you can taste the cottage cheese in here, you cannot. The mixed berries and the pancakes really give it a nice sweet taste. This is the smallest pancake ever. It's like a pancake for ants. Whew.
After my delicious protein-packed breakfast, I return to my line art, working now on my iPad, which is part of my drawing supplies, such as my sketchbook, pencil, sharpener, eraser, of course. I've been having a lot of fun with digital art lately, specifically digital painting. As somebody who normally uses a lot of line art in their work, it's really nice and liberating to go lineless and focus on capturing shapes with colors rather than being concerned about getting lines very crisp and exact. This was a really cool sticker that I got from a tattoo studio. Again, working on a canvas size that's not really big, you have to be mindful about how much detail you want to capture when you're working on a smaller subject. Especially with the brush that I'm using, because things can get a little pixely if you try to make points, such as with the fangs. Right now, I am drawing out, oh my gosh, what's his name? Pom Pom Perrine. Yes, of course. I almost said cinema roll, but that's not right. It's still Sanrio, but anyways, Pom Pom Perrine on a skateboard. I think I did pretty well at capturing the likeness. Again, it's a pretty small sticker, so I was just trying to get the general shapes rather than like all of the tiny details of his face. This is a cute dumpling sticker that I got as a gift from a friend. I actually have some more stickers that's on the cover of my sketchbook, but I had to be selective about which ones I wanted to include since I don't have a lot of room. And I didn't want to minimize the stickers and it starts losing quality and readability. I'm going in and cleaning up some of those pixelated lines just so it's easier to see from a distance. And jumping over to my essential drawing tools, because I am a graphite girly. It's time to start working on the water bottle. In real life, my water bottle is pretty beat up. I've dropped it a handful of times, so it has a lot of dents. The finish on it is kind of chipping off. But let's just assume this water bottle was brand new, fresh from the store, hasn't been dropped, mishandled. I try to stay pretty hydrated throughout the days, especially since I drink coffee. I don't like feeling dehydrated, so I pretty much have my water bottle on me all the time. I'm trying to capture the marble finish that it has And there is a brush in Procreate, but I just felt it made more sense with my art style to draw it by hand. Last but certainly not least is the protein powder. I am recreating the Ghost protein powder in the flavor Nutter Butter, which is what I have been drinking lately. I don't really have a go-to when it comes to protein powder. I kind of like to experiment, jump around, try different flavors. I think for the next one, I'm going to try Little Debbie's Strawberry Shortcake by Rise. And if any of you guys have seen my previous videos, you might know that I love strawberries. So I'm excited to see what that tastes like. I also love peanut butter too, but might not be a bad opportunity to try something new until I find a flavor that I absolutely love, and maybe we'll just stick with that. Alright, so now that we're done drawing all the essential items, it's time to work on the doll or action figure of the starter pack, which would be me. I'm working on my brows, which is kind of therapeutic in a way. I've definitely changed up drawing my brows throughout the years, but I think I like this style a little more, where I kind of imitate some of the hair strokes and then draw in the whole eyebrow as one shape. I've drawn self-portraits in the past for like an art assignment in high school, and there's something really weird about looking into a mirror and studying your features so closely, or looking at a photo of yourself for an hour or more at a time. I don't know, it's a little weird. I don't look at myself as often, evidently, as I did until I started working on this this trend. Although my style is a little more semi-realistic, I do like to stylize the eyes, for instance. I tend to make them a little bigger, more anime inspired, because my eyes are not that big in real life. And I also don't have eyeliner. I actually wasn't wearing any makeup during the time that I took these pictures, but I had to give myself a little bit of eyeliner, a little bit of mascara, you know. I had some ideas on the sort of outfit I wanted to wear for this starter pack, but at my core, I tend to be a pretty simple girl. I don't like to dress over the top, but I also think it's because I'm from Florida, and to me, it never made sense to over-accessorize or wear lots of layers, because it's humid pretty much all the time. So I value comfortability over fashion, but if I lived in a state where I could be a little more fashionable, then I totally would. But for the sake of this trend, I decided to keep it pretty simple. Like I said, wearing a plain t-shirt and baggy pants tends to be my go-to. I'm recreating the peony tattoo, and I have to say, drawing my tattoos were a lot of fun. It gave me the opportunity to, again, brainstorm how I can capture the likeness without getting too carried away with the details, because my canvas isn't that big, so a lot of that would get lost after I compress the image. But luckily, I do have some bigger tattoos on me, so I think I did a good job at recreating myself in a smaller scale. Out of all the tattoos that I've drawn, the hardest would have to be the lotus flower in sacred geometry, only because this tattoo does have a decent amount of details. So I wanted to make sure that I was capturing some of my favorite parts of it, which to me would be the lotus flower, the black work, and a little bit of the sacred geometry. It's definitely not an exact match. I would say the flowers are a lot closer to how they look like in real life, but the sacred geometry, I had to simplify it just for the sake of the scale of me. That makes any sense? You get too detailed, things get blurry very quick. This piece definitely took a lot longer because of some of the smaller details on myself and in my essential items. If I had more tattoos, this definitely would have taken me more time. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that the only visible ones I had was my sleeve. I'm going in and adding the borders around my items, which would act as like the plastic packaging in the starter pack. Adding in some details around where my screen name's gonna be. And of course I have to add the year that the starter pack was created. And finally, we are moving on to coloring. I'm adding in the blocks of color for my mini backpack. There's gonna be a lot of pink in this starter pack. If you guys don't know, that's like my favorite color. We're moving on to coloring the tarot deck. I did some color matching, which I think I've actually been getting a lot better at. I think painting's been helping a lot, and I would like to make time to actually do painting in real life, like acrylic paints. I have a decent amount of that, but it's also a little intimidating for me. Digital art is more forgiving if you mess up because you can undo it, and you also don't have to make such a mess with mixing paints and needing like a big workstation. But it is something I want to do more this year, is make more physical art. I'm adding in that metal parts of the iPad. I'm not really sure what to call it. Doing some more color matching for my pencil. And doing some color dropping right now for the pencil sharpener. Playing around with that opacity so it captures the likeness. Color fill for Pom Pom Perrine on the skateboard. I'm still not 100% comfortable with rendering quite yet, but it was a lot of fun working on this piece, even though it did take me a while. I'm coloring over the line art on my water bottle because there's lots of shades of blue on it. I felt the initial red that I picked was a little too... It's too much like a fire truck red, and the packaging for the ghost protein powder is a little bit of a deeper red. Finally coloring my hair. I have dark brown. It pretty much is like black hair, but I don't have jet black hair. I would categorize it as a very dark brown. So doing my color fill for that, which is not foolproof, but it does fill in a lot. There's a certain point in the video where I noticed when I was doing the color drop, it didn't fill everything up, so I had to go in and like manually color certain areas, specifically where the creases in my shirt were and near the seams of my shoes. There's something about coloring your iris that really brings life to these sorts of illustrations. I'm also going in and coloring my lip, getting it as close to my natural color as possible because, like I said, I am not wearing any makeup, so not going super crazy with that. I'm going over the line art for my tattoo in black or a dark brown because pretty much all of the line art that I have for them is black. I had to go over certain areas with my skin color, and now we are coloring the peony. I first add these shades of like a berry color, and then I go in with the smudge tool to give it that nice fade into my actual skin color. My Gazette tattoo has this red drop shadow, which gives it like a faux 3D effect, so I'm just adding that in. For the lotus flower and the black work, there is a gray wash over it, so I went in with an airbrush tool and then I tweaked with the opacity. And now I am adding color in my jeans. I keep calling them jeans and pants, sorry about that, but you guys know what I'm talking about. My jeans have a bit of an acid wash feel, so I'm going to recreate that using some texture brushes.
It's been a little while since I've done a check-in, and even longer since I've taken my lunch breaks to work on art. I'm almost done with coloring up the starter pack. I still have to render a couple of items, shade, all that jazz, but we are nearing the finish line, so that is exciting. It's coming along really nice too. I like the way it looks and excited to see what it looks like once everything is completed. That's all I got for now. Let me get to it.
So at this point, I believe I am nearing the rendering process of the illustration. I'm using a textured brush to give my jeans a bit of a bleach feel in certain areas, and then now I am blurring out the highlights on my hair because even though it is dark brown, light still shines off of it. Adding the touch of highlights to my shoes, just really make them pop. And I'm dropping in some color on the crescent moons, which will be next to my username. I'm going to add that after I finish up this illustration because the specific font I want to use is in Canva. I am going to render my mini backpack, which is made of crushed velvet, so it was a little challenging figuring out a way to imitate that feel, but I found a couple brushes I think that actually came in Procreate, like preset brushes that did a really good job, and I think I got pretty close to recreating my backpack as close as I can. I'm adding in the highlights here to the stickers, pencil sharpener. I like using a combination of cell shading and then like an airbrush feel, because I do think cell shading can be a little harsh sometimes, so I like the best of both worlds. As is that Hannah Montana? Did she say that? I'm blurring out the highlights on the protein powder, adding in my shading to my backpack. Crushed velvet is very interesting because not only does it shine, but there's also a lot of shadows that fall on it depending on the way the fabric is. So had to find a way to replicate both of those feelings. Also, I forgot to mention this way earlier, but I'm sorry for that glare that's bouncing off my iPad. I happen to be sitting right under a light, so I can't really avoid it unless I move my body like directly over my iPad, which is not very comfortable. But anyway, we're nearing the end of the rendering stage. It's been a lot of fun working on this. I'm really glad I decided to take a swing and create my own starter pack for me. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, seeing the process and everything that goes behind it, basically. It's nice taking a break from webtoons. Sometimes I just have to take a breather and do something else, because it's exhausting working on the same thing for weeks on end, but I am I am still determined to get my webtoon series, or at least the first couple episodes, completed and have a little backlog, because I know some of you guys have been asking and inquiring about that, which thank you. That's really awesome that some of you guys are excited to read it whenever I publish it. But I do hope you guys continue to stick around with me on this art journey of mine while you patiently wait for me to publish AMP. Have you guys, any of you guys made your own starter pack? I'm interested to hear about that. I'm adding some of the finishing touches here, which are the highlights on the plastic packaging. And it's really just all coming together. All my hard work is starting to pay off. The vision is finally like here. I just have to add these 2 stickers of my dogs because my starter pack will come with stickers. So the first sticker I'm putting on here is of Bonsai. The second being Brody, who is the newest addition to my family. And of course, they wouldn't be stickers if I didn't put my glasses on them. I feel like that was a really cute touch. Kind of kept everything cohesive, in pink, of course. I'd imagine these stickers would be vinyl, because vinyl stickers are top tier. They don't degrade nearly as easy as regular stickers, so we do like that. We like the quality. Would you guys ever be interested in stickers of my pets? I don't know. I think they're cute. Maybe this is something I can keep in mind in the future. But like I said, you guys, I just want to thank you for joining me on this journey of creating a starter pack. I hope you enjoyed the video. You were able to kick back, relax, or maybe draw along with me. And I hope to see you guys in my next one. Take care, y'all. Bye!